She knew I couldn't leave. I used to think the worst kind of betrayal was sudden, a knife between the ribs when you least expect it. But I was wrong. The worst kind is slow, silent, drawn out over months, maybe years. The kind you don't even realize is happening until it's too late. The kind that wears your name like perfume and kisses you goodnight with a mouthful of lies. Her name was Erica, and she didn't break my heart. She trained it, like a dog, to love her more than itself, just so she could walk away and leave it begging. I met her during my second year of university. She transferred into my major, communications, and sat 2 rows behind me in media ethics. She had this laugh that was loud in a way most girls would try to muffle, but not her. She wanted people to look. She needed it. I didn't realize that back then. I just thought she was confident, different. She walked like she knew people were watching, and I watched her like it was my job. It started with study groups, then late-night walks back to her dorm. We kissed the first night it snowed. She tasted like cinnamon gum and cold wind. By spring, she had moved into my apartment without ever officially asking. Her toothbrush appeared in my bathroom. Her hoodies replaced mine in the closet. Her cat started sleeping on my side of the bed. She never said, "I love you," first. But she'd say things like, "God, I don't know what I'd do without you," or "No one gets me like you do." I clung to those scraps like a starving man. At first, being with Erica felt electric, but not in the way love should. It felt like walking a tightrope between ecstasy and anxiety. Every moment with her was intense, addictive, beautiful in that unstable, dangerous way, like lightning in a glass. One day, she'd kiss me like she was trying to breathe me in. The next, she'd go silent for hours and say, "You're just too much sometimes." I started apologizing for things I didn't understand. I stopped asking questions that made her sigh. I told myself I was overthinking it, that this is just how love feels when it's real, messy, complicated, all-consuming. I didn't know yet that she wasn't confused. She was in control. It wasn't just me she played with, but I didn't see that at first. Or maybe I didn't want to. There was always some guy, a classmate, a coworker, an old friend from back home, orbiting her. She swore they were harmless. "God, you're so insecure," she'd say whenever I asked. "They're like brothers to me. You have to chill." But they didn't act like brothers. They messaged her at midnight. They called when she was with me. They commented fire emojis on photos she knew would stir the pot. She never shut it down. Instead, she laughed, rolled her eyes, told me to stop being so dramatic. And I did. Because if I pushed too hard, she'd pull away. Because I thought loving her meant giving her space, even when she used that space to flirt, to provoke, to keep me dangling. There was one guy in particular, Ryan. He worked with her at the cafe near campus. Tall, too charming. The kind of guy who called girls trouble and got away with it. I hated how often his name came up. How many times she said things like, "Ugh, Ryan's such a flirt, it's annoying." But she always said it with a smile. One night, she left her phone on the counter while she was in the shower. It lit up. A message from him. "Ryan, you looked so good today. Tell your boy to stop hogging you." I stood there, staring at the screen. I felt sick, but I didn't open the message. I didn't confront her. Instead, I deleted it. I told myself it was nothing, because I was afraid of what it might be. Because deep down, I already knew. That was just the start. The lies got slicker. Her mood swings sharper. Her affection more conditional. I started noticing patterns. Whenever I stood up for myself, even slightly, she'd get distant, cold, disinterested. But when I begged, when I apologized, when I made myself small, she was warm again. Sweet, sexual, affectionate. She rewarded my compliance and punished resistance. She trained me to crave her approval like oxygen, and I became an expert at earning it, even when it meant betraying myself. The worst part? She knew I couldn't leave. She saw how broken I already was from the things I never told anyone. My father's abandonment, my fear of being unwanted, the years I spent trying to prove I was worth staying for. She found those wounds and traced them like Braille. She didn't try to heal them. She just learned how to poke them when I got too close to figuring her out. "I'm not your therapist, babe," she once said, rolling her eyes when I opened up. But when she cried, when she fell apart, I held her like she was glass. Because I thought love was giving everything, even when it left me empty. I remember the night it truly shifted. It was after her birthday party. We'd thrown it at our place. Well, technically my place. But by then, everything that was mine had become hers. Friends, furniture, even the playlist. She had this way of hijacking spaces without ever saying it outright. She spent the entire evening draped across Ryan's lap, laughing at his jokes, whispering in his ear. I stood in the kitchen, pretending to care about beer brands while I watched her light up for someone else. I couldn't breathe. When the party ended, people filtered out in groups. Erica was tipsy, slurring compliments to strangers, hugging everyone too long. Ryan left with a wink. When I closed the door, it was just the two of us. I said, "You know how that looked, right?" Her smile dropped like a curtain. "Oh my God, not this again." "You sat on his lap." "I was drunk." "You laughed like he was your boyfriend." "Jesus, you're such a child." That night, she didn't sleep next to me. She took the blanket and laid on the couch. I laid awake in bed, staring at the ceiling, wondering how I became someone begging to be treated like a human being. The next morning, she acted like nothing happened. Made coffee, played music, kissed my cheek. I asked, "Are we going to talk about last night?" She sighed, rolled her eyes. "If you're gonna be weird, just say so." And that was it. No apology, no explanation. Just the clear, cold message that my pain was an inconvenience, something to be ignored until it went away. And I let it. Because I thought, if I just hold on a little longer, she'll come back to me. But I didn't realize she was never with me to begin with. Her control got subtler with time. She stopped saying she loved me. Instead, she said things like, "I don't know what I want right now. I just need space. I'm scared of how much you love me." At first, I tried to be understanding, supportive, patient, but space turned into days without texting. Scared turned into sleeping with her phone face down. She started dressing differently, going out without telling me, uploading photos alone at bars in low-cut tops with captions like, "One of those nights." And I'd lie awake staring at her empty side of the bed, scrolling through her comments, heart racing. Always the same guys. Always the same fire, fire, fire. And where's the invite? Always no reply publicly. But I knew she was replying, just not where I could see it. My breaking point came 6 months before I left. Though left is too clean a word. You don't leave someone like Erica. You crawl away. She'd gotten a job offer in another city. Something to do with PR and nightlife. I can't even remember. What I do remember is how she said it. "I might go. Not sure yet. Depends on how things are going with us." Like it was a threat. Like I had to convince her to stay. I started doing everything, cooking for her, cleaning, buying flowers, booking dates, giving her space, then asking if I could come over to my own apartment. She got colder, harsher. And then one night, I saw it. She was asleep on the couch, phone in hand, screen still lit. A message from Ryan. "Ryan, wish you were in my bed tonight." She hadn't replied. Not yet. But she'd read it. And she hadn't deleted it. And that was worse than a reply. That meant she liked knowing it was there. That it wasn't the first time. I sat there, staring at her sleeping face, wondering how she could look so peaceful after slowly destroying me for years. I thought about waking her up, demanding the truth, throwing the phone, screaming. But I didn't. Because part of me still hoped it could be fixed. Because part of me still loved her. Because part of me still believed I deserved this. That's what she had done to me. Not just gaslight me. Not just manipulated me. She convinced me that she was the prize. And I was the one lucky to be tolerated. That night, I slept in the bathroom. On the floor. With the door locked. Just to feel a door between us. Just to have something, anything, that she couldn't open without asking. It was the first time I felt even a sliver of control. And it wouldn't last. But it was the beginning. I wish I could say that the night I slept on the bathroom floor was when I walked away. That I got up the next morning, packed my things, and left her behind like a bad dream. But I didn't. Because abuse doesn't always come with bruises. Sometimes it comes with slow erosion of dignity, of self, of reality. I convinced myself I was overreacting. I told myself maybe Ryan was just being flirty and she didn't flirt back. That maybe she liked the attention but didn't act on it. That maybe I just needed to be better. More romantic. More confident. Less needy. That's what she always said, wasn't it? "You're just too sensitive. You always ruin the mood. I can't even talk to anyone without you acting crazy." So I apologized. Again, and again, and again. We had a vacation booked that spring, something I had saved up for months for. A cabin in the woods. No Wi-Fi. Just the two of us. I thought maybe, just maybe, we could reset. But I should have known the minute we arrived, and she didn't even unpack. She was on her phone constantly, checking in on work, But work doesn't send shirtless selfies at 11 p.m. I saw it, briefly, a notification on her screen when she left it unlocked. Ryan, wish I was there instead of him. And she smiled when she saw it. Not a full smile, just the corner of her mouth twitching upward, like a secret she liked holding. I didn't say anything. I just walked out onto the porch, sat in the cold, and cried, silently, pathetically. When she finally came outside, she said, "What's wrong with you now?" Not, "Are you okay?" Not, "Did something happen?" Just, "What's wrong with you now?" Like I was a chronic illness she was tired of managing. I told her I saw Ryan's message. She shrugged. So? I didn't ask him to send it. But you didn't stop him. She sipped her wine. You know what? I'm tired of you acting like I cheat on you. You emotionally cheat on me every day. She laughed. You're such a drama queen. I'm serious, Erica. So am I. Grow up. She went back inside and slammed the door. We barely spoke the rest of the trip. She took selfies, posed in the woods, posted them as if she was alone. Captioned one. Nature is peaceful, unlike some people. I didn't even ask who that was aimed at. I knew. When we got back to the apartment, she didn't unpack. She left a day later, said she needed a break, and that break lasted 2 weeks. She stated, of friends. She said she needed time to find herself, and I believed her. I waited, like a dog at the door. When she came back, she acted like nothing happened, tossed her bags down, gave me a kiss on the cheek, said, "Did you miss me?" And I said yes, because I did. Because somehow, despite everything, I still felt like she was home. That was the cruelest part. Even after all she took, she still felt like home. Because abuse makes you crave the very thing that hurts you. Then came the final straw. I was at work. She accidentally sent me a message that wasn't meant for me. It was a selfie, in our bed, wearing nothing, with the caption, "Wish you were here again, Red Heart." I stared at it, confused. Then, before I could reply, she texted, "Sorry, wrong person. No apology, no explanation. Just, wrong person." And then nothing. I left work, rushed home. She wasn't there. I called. No answer. I texted. Who was that for? No reply. I waited until midnight. She walked in like nothing had happened. "Hey, where were you?" "With a friend." "Who?" "Jesus, are we doing this again?" I showed her the message. She looked at it, then smiled, and said, "Yeah, that wasn't for you." Just like that. No shame, no fear, no regret. She just admitted it, like she was proud. "I see the way you look at me," she said. "You act like I owe you something because you've stuck around." And I said, "I don't think you owe me anything. I think you just shouldn't lie." And she said, "I never lied. I just never told you everything." And then she laughed and walked into the bathroom and closed the door. I stood there, staring at the door, my hands shaking, my chest hollow. And for the first time, I knew she was never going to stop, because she didn't see me, not as a partner, not as a person, just as a placeholder, something to fall back on when the others got tired. The next morning, I packed my things. Not all of them, just enough. I left the keys on the counter. I didn't say goodbye. I didn't write a note. I didn't look back. And she didn't chase me. She never called, never texted, never asked where I went, because she knew I couldn't leave. Until I did. And once I did, I no longer existed. Months later, I saw her on Instagram. New guy. Same smile. Same captions. I finally found peace. When you stop settling, you start living. Photos in our old cabin. Wearing my hoodie. I laughed. For the first time in a long time, I laughed. Because I knew she hadn't changed. She just found someone else who didn't know her yet. But I did. And I would never forget it. But the worst part? Even now, sometimes, I still miss her. Not the real her. The version I created in my head. The one I loved. The one who never existed. The message. The selfie. The caption. Her words. Her face didn't change. Not even a flicker of shame. Just that same dead-eyed calm she always wore when she knew she had the upper hand. "That wasn't for you," she said, like I hadn't just watched the foundation of my entire relationship collapse in front of me. I stared at her. "I know. That's the problem." She rolled her eyes and dropped her bag on the floor. "You always blow everything out of proportion." "Who was it for?" "Erica." Silence. Her jaw tensed. Her arms folded. She turned slightly away, like even answering me was beneath her. "You don't trust me." That's your issue. I laughed, not because anything was funny, but because something in me snapped. Finally, cleanly, I trusted you more than I trusted myself, I said quietly. That's why I'm still here. She scoffed. Then leave. 3 words. Flat. Bored. Like a dare she knew I wouldn't take. And she was right. I didn't leave. Not that night. Not even the next. Because it's not just love you lose in a relationship like that. It's your compass. Your dignity. Your ability to believe your own eyes. I should have walked away. But instead, I stayed. And the days after were worse than anything before. She didn't apologize. She didn't explain. She didn't even bother hiding it anymore. She started texting in front of me, going out without saying where, coming home hours later, smelling like cologne that wasn't mine. And every time I asked, I was the problem. Insecure, obsessive, controlling. I started to believe it, that maybe I was broken, that maybe no one else would ever love me. That's what she wanted. That's what people like her need, to be irreplaceable in your misery. It took another 2 months. 2 long, aching, humiliating months. I slept on the couch most nights, or pretended to. She stopped touching me, stopped kissing me. I became a ghost in my own home. But one night, something changed. She was getting ready to go out, black dress, red lipstick, the perfume she used to only wear for me. I asked, "Who are you going with?" She paused, looked at me in the mirror, and smiled. "Ryan." And something in me just shut down. Not rage, not sadness, not even jealousy, just a numb, icy clarity. I nodded. "Okay." She blinked. "That's it. I hope you have a good night." And I meant it, because I knew it was over. Not the relationship. Me. The version of me that begged, that waited, that believed her lies. That man was gone. She left, and I packed. Not frantically, not in tears. Methodically. Clothes, books, toothbrush. The photo frame she never noticed I'd kept, the one from our first winter together, when I still thought this could be love. I left the keys on the counter, and I walked away. No note, no final message, no explanation, just silence. The one thing she could never control. And for the first time in years, I could breathe. Not easily, not deeply, not yet. But I wasn't choking anymore. And that was enough. It's been almost a year now. I still have bad days. Days where I question everything. Days where her voice still plays in my head. But I'm healing. Slowly. Quietly. And when I look back, I don't feel anger. I feel gratitude. Because she showed me exactly what I never want again. She taught me what love isn't. And somewhere, someday, I'll find what it is. But for now, I'm learning to love myself. And this time, I won't apologize for it. The end.